Welcome, everybody. Come on into this week's show. I want to welcome you, and today is going to be a great show. You can see I got a little bit of a Movember here. If I can learn to speak today. Let's get this lamp a little bit out of the way. It's creating a little bit of a shadow. There we go. And we're going to cover a bunch of cool things. We're going to really focus on a few core topics, which is cultural gravity, and then building your own personal culture. And then we're going to talk about how to actually do that. And this is different from basically like family or ethnic culture or anything like that. This has to do with success culture and succeeding in sport and succeeding in any other area of life that you're trying to succeed in. Because in this podcast, in this video series, in every single week that we're together, we're always trying to work on improving every aspect of our life. And we're not just trying to be one-dimensional. We want to have everything, and we can have everything. So before we get started, we always have to do one thing to get things started off right. So if you'll join me now for the always exciting, always enlightening dopamine hit of the week, as good as scoring the winning goal in overtime. All you need is water, Gatorade, or powdered greens, BioStero protein, or any sports drink in between. And grab your favorite sports drink right now, your favorite hydrating beverage. And I prefer usually water with a little bit of sea salt. Right now I just have some water. And won't you join me now for the simultaneous sip? And it happens now. Go. Of course, that's not live, but you will get way more from every single video and podcast if you do that sip with me in the video. I promise you. It's going to train your brain to habitually kick in, and it's going to actually back up everything that you're doing. So trust me, you should definitely do that every single time. All right. Well, I always want to talk about the purpose of what we're doing here. And it's about bringing honest convo to hockey. And it's honest convo for life, for people who want to succeed in both hockey and off the ice as well. So there's no secrets. We want to stop having secrets in the game. We want to push the game forward in terms of culture, development, relationships, spirituality, diet, training. And we want to build together a community of driven players that all love the game and who all are out to perform at their best. And that's what we're building, is this community here. Every time you listen, every time you're a part of this, you're growing and expanding this. Every time you share this, you're growing the community. So I want you to leave inspired, informed, entertained, with an actionable system and a new filter on reality, something that you can really take and be excited about every time you step out of these podcasts. And every single time, and I guarantee today, you will walk out with a new filter on success. And you can hear my fridge kicking on in the background there. So every single episode, again, is designed to help you turn your hockey and your life into a game that you control and that you love. So please give me feedback, give us a rating, send a DM. You can send it to my Instagram. Always leave that information in the bio. If not, let me know, leave a comment. And also make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll continue to see all the updates, and then you'll never miss out on any new learnings or new teachings. All right, so let's get into it. This should be a relatively quick video. It's going to be more about concentrating and getting the right information there. So let's talk about cultural gravity. What is cultural gravity? Well, when we talk about the idea of gravity in real life, it's something that's really pulling you down. So the stronger gravity is, the harder it pulls you down, and the more you're basically stuck where you are. Now, when you live in let's say a town, or you live with a group of friends that are near you, or even if it's just your neighborhood, and the culture of that neighborhood is focused around telling you not to succeed. So this could be having a group of friends who maybe like to play hockey but don't care that much. This could be friends who just have nothing to do with what you're interested in. This could be family that isn't interested in it. This could be when you go to the store and you talk to new people, everybody in the town you live in just seems to have the same mentality. Or it could be anything in this kind of realm. This is the idea of cultural gravity. It's this pull that you get. It's the opinions of everyone around you. And if you have a really strong cultural gravity around you, it's going to pull you down and hold you where you are and make it harder to want to expand and grow. And if you have a light cultural gravity, one that is pushing you and wants to see you succeed, that's a very light cultural gravity. So when we talk about this, it's important to understand where this is occurring in your life. Where is this culture? Where is the pull of this culture really impacting you in your life? And we're going to talk about some of the specifics here. So first of all, I want you to pay attention and really reflect today and in the future and the days coming here. Reflect on the music that you listen to. Reflect on the social media that you follow, the friends you have around you, your family, the books that you read and the things that you read. And notice how those affect the gravity of success. Do you feel like you're pulled down and being held there by the things that you're consuming? Do you feel like these are influencing you to want to do certain things, whether that's partying or things of the kind of party nature? That can be drinking, drugs, whatever those things are. Are you listening to music that keeps talking about that and pushing that? What about social media? Are you paying attention to people who are bringing up drama and talking about just politics or things like that? Are your close friends? What are they talking about? What are you guys doing on a consistent basis when you're together? Your family, what do you talk about with when you bring up big ideas? Do your parents push that down or do they get excited for you? Really consider what that feeling is like, what the energy is and that gravity is around you. What about the books that you read? Are you reading positive books? Or are you reading books that really aren't doing much for you? They're more entertaining. Maybe they're fictional stories and maybe they're not doing much for you, or maybe they're doing a ton. But consider if you're really what the culture of all these things are. This is what builds your personal culture. And these are going to influence you. They make a major, major impact on your experience of really your entire life. And we have to be very, very conscious of this moving forward in our lives if we want to make an impact. We want to do something with every single day. And yes, of course, you don't have to change. And you also don't have to succeed, or you don't have to push yourself in any way. But if you're listening to this, odds are that's the purpose of you being here. So consider music, consider social media, close friends, family, books, and really spend some time on this. I recommend always doing 1 hour weekly mental exploration. During that, consider these things and consider what is the culture that is developing for you? What is your personal culture? Now, how do we actually create a better personal culture? First, I'm going to take a drink. So there's 3 core steps to this. And right after this, you can easily apply these 3 steps to push yourself forward right away. Now, what I absolutely do not want to do is make this a super, super cliche concept. I don't want to just talk about believe, achieve, and you will succeed. These concepts that you hear from kind of more guru type people. I want to, at all costs, avoid this concept. I want to give you stuff that works and stuff that's actually exciting and that you can understand, that's going to push you forward. Now, understand that some of this language may sound like things you've heard before, but this is crystallized down into the core principles that you need to actually apply this stuff. So the first thing you need to do is you need to set prioritized goals. Now, these do not have to be extremely specific because life is not extremely specific. You can't plan exactly what's going to happen. One of the biggest mistakes that I made for years during my playing career is I used to set very specific goals. I used to set a goal of trying to score this amount of goals. I used to set this point aim. I used to say I wanted to win this amount of games for our team. And when you start to get into these specifics, you realize that you can't control this. By the end of the season, you're going to realize whatever number you set was really just a general area you were trying to get to. You were trying to score a lot of goals, or you were trying to win a lot of games. And it's impossible to create an exact specific point and just hit it. You may get lucky, and this is where luck comes in. A lot of people don't like to talk about this, but there is a major element of luck in any success. So what you want to do is be setting yourself up for luck to find you. You want to set yourself up for having the preparation. So when the opportunity comes, like Conor McGregor, I believe he's the one who quoted saying this, that it's preparation meets opportunity. So you need that luck, that opportunity to pop up, and you want to do everything you can to get those opportunities and make them happen more often. But then you have to have the ability, and you have to be prepared for that. So when we talk about prioritizing goals, this means establish what you want to accomplish in the areas of life. So first of all, what are you trying to do in hockey? Are you trying to be a goal scoring player? Are you trying to be a highly skilled offensive player, a strong two-way player? Are you trying to be a strong defensive-minded player? Are you trying to really just make a specific team? What are you aiming for as a holistic target? Imagine that you're going on a trip, and let's say you're a conqueror in the 200 years ago, and you're trying to get to a specific country. Your aim is to get to a big area. And the more you can get very, very specific, but understand that you may run into obstacles. There may be lakes there that you don't know about. There may be forests that you just can't get through, and you have to step around and change that trajectory. And this is the same thing with any element of your life. If your goal is to say, I'm going to score 50 goals this year. Well, what if you miss 20 games? You may never be able to, it might not be possible if you only have a 40-game season, or it may be maybe ridiculous to try to create that expectation. And you don't know what specific obstacles are going to occur. But instead, if you set that priority of being a highly skilled offensive player or a goal scorer, that gives you a very easy understanding in a general area that you're aiming at. Now, what you need to do is set your culture. So this means setting the things that you do, the things that are all around you. And whenever something that doesn't line up with that comes up, it's important to be aware of it and analyze it and notice if it's going to be good or not. And if you can add or remove this specific thing. So if you want to, let's say it's a music choice, you're listening to too much music that's just super sad, it's putting you in a terrible mood. Well, then remove it. Same with social media. Just unfollow the people that you're not getting anything from or that you don't like after you've reflected on it. Close friends. If a close friend is somebody, if they're not making your life better, you're not enjoying being around that person, that's a conversation you have to have with that person. And if they decide that they don't care and they would rather continue to have a negative impact, then maybe that's a person that you spend less time with. And you don't have to remove friends, but it is important to actually prioritize the people that matter to you the most and know when it's important to spend time away from them and prioritize other things. Same with family. If you're having a tough time with, maybe it's a really negative parent that they just will not support anything you do, well, then you have to be willing to take in other resources, read positive books, have positive influences all around you, friends that show you there's more possibility. And maybe you just don't talk about these things with your parents if that's how they feel. It's very important to analyze that and really have that really have that inner dialogue. If you skip out on that, it's gonna suck. It's gonna have a massive impact. So set that culture, set it up, put yourself with constant positive influences coming in all the time so that you don't have to fight it all the time. And this creates this cycle of just kind of a spiral up with everything you're doing. That's why I always try to have books and things around me that I can use to really just spend extra time. One thing that I have recently done, and I'll grab this, that I do highly recommend, specifically this, is a Kindle. And it sounds kind of weird, and you may say like kind of nerdy, wanting to learn more stuff. But the reason that I really like having it is that if I want to spend 10 minutes, I've set my actual system up, and this is what we'll talk about next. I've actually set it up so that I'm spending 10 hours a day reading, and I have like 50 books on there that I can just quickly pop through. I already have one that I'm reading. It's set to the page I'm on, and I can just whip directly into that without any problem. And it can be really, really tough sometimes to kind of find the motivation to want to read. So you just remove, what you want to do is you want to remove the obstacles. You want to remove all the friction so that you can just flow into these things. And one of the things that causes friction with success is having just a terrible personal culture. So set those things up around you so that they're influencing you in the right way, and then allow that to just flow. And then on a weekly basis, reflecting on these things and noticing when things are coming in that you don't like, or notice when you want to have more. You want to spend more time with somebody who's positively impacting you, or do more of something that's working. And this will have a huge, huge impact. Let's see. And then finally, use the system. Now, I guarantee you've heard me talk about this before, but this is how a system ties into this. So after we've prioritized what our target area is, and we've made a broad, basically making a big target. And one of the arguments I have heard is if you aim small, miss small. So this is the idea, or aim big, miss big. And I do think this is important when you're talking about controllable things. Like, let's say your goal is to, you literally have a target directly in front of you. It's a physical target that you can see, and you can actually see the obstacles. The obstacle is the wind. The obstacle is gravity. If you know anything about like sniping, that's like part of that that culture, I guess, or that skill. But understanding that those are obstacles you see, you know what it is, and when you step in front of that, you can set the goal of, I want to miss by this much. But what it gets ignored with how life works is that there will be obstacles that get in the way. So you can say, you can intentionally say, I want to score 50 goals or 100 goals, or you want to win this amount of games. You can do that. But what the biggest problem with focusing on these very specific quantitative goals is that they make you a failure until you succeed. So, and then there's that 1%, that little point where you finally hit it, then you set a new goal. Whereas instead, if you set a system that's based around heading towards a target, so you want to be a person who can score 50 goals. You want to be that type of player. A player can score a goal a game or get a point a game. You want that to be a target that you're aiming at, because it does allow you to kind of set that compass. But then off of that, you set the culture, you set the things that are constantly existing and just flowing around you, so you don't have to worry about any of that. And then you set a daily, a weekly thing that you're doing. You set a system ahead of you. Now, in our actual group, this is in the Identity 2.0 group, we've developed our own entire system. So we have a specific way of setting up checklists. We have a system of setting up how you do your day-to-day work. And this allows you to not have to stress about what to do. I know that if I complete my anywhere from 3 to kind of 6 sessions of different things each day, I know that I'm going to get the right amount of work done each week, in terms of speed, in terms of my physical training, in terms of my mental training, my meditation, visualization, identity training, all these things. And then if I ever need the tools, or anybody in the group needs the tools, that's when we actually go and work on this stuff. That's when we can go into the courses and we can actually use the meditation course and start going through and using guided sessions, or using guided visualization sessions, or learning how to, let's say, improve on our cardio through breath work, things like that. We have those tools laid out for us so we can just access them. So this allows us to just plug away, and it allows us to not even have to stress out about will I hit my targets? Will I get toward, am I moving towards my targets? You just know that the system's there. And then on a weekly basis, again, that's why we have reflection. And that's why we reset each week. We have a call each week where we actually go through specific techniques, improving and tweaking and setting ourselves up for a level up, stepping one level above where we were last week in our system, whether that's adding something, whether that's removing something unnecessary. And when we can do this, this is how we create that momentum. And a system with prioritized goals and a proper personal culture is going to put you ahead of every single person in the long term. Now, in the short term, yes, it is not going to always go exactly how you want. You will hit obstacles. Like the book says, the obstacle is the way. You don't believe me, you can see it right there. I guess it's reversed. But the obstacle is the way. So understand that. That is key. If you look at life as heading towards targets and then using a system, trusting that, and then when you need rest, you need recovery, or you need to adjust, you make those adjustments. Now, if you want specific help on this, send me a message, leave me a comment, or use the links below in the video or of the podcast, and you can submit an application to join the group, or it may be available where you can actually just sign up right now. So again, if that's right for you, I want to see you in that group. No more making excuses. Step up. Let's join and let's start working on your system, putting all the tools together so that you can succeed in all areas of life. So that hockey isn't even a worry. You know you're getting better during whether it's quarantine time, whether it's your season's already going, no matter what it is, you know you're pushing forward and you're progressing. So hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day. Have an amazing rest of the week. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment and let me know some topics that you want me to cover, some things we should dive into, any guests you'd like to see on. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. May see you again sooner. I am going to jump on and do some micro sessions and things like that. I do micro sessions very consistently in our Actual Identity 2.0 group. So if you want access to those little treasures and those little treats on a weekly basis, then click the links below. But I will see you guys soon and enjoy.